That kind of nerd. Let's start the show with comics, movies, and technology. Here we go, bringing you the segments that you're looking for, like Cape Talk, Screen to Stream, Tech Perspective, and more. Cast this nerd degree and the blockbuster. Welcome to the club, cause you're that kind of nerd.
Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. And I am CJ Millen, joined by Joshua Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
Why'd you enunciate the end so hard?
Was it too hard?
It just felt weird.
Who's been messing up everything? It's been Brian Thornton all along. Yeah, but you know what? You're happy and you're smiling when I said it, so I take that as an absolute victory.
It's a pity smile.
That's
it's
fine.
One of those awkward. I have to make like a like it smile so that we can move on to the next thing.
Contractually obligated.
Anyway, if you haven't figured it out, this week we are going to be talking about one thing and one thing only, and that is WandaVision.
WandaVision.
We've been holding our tongues week by week as this has gone by. Figured we'd just wait for the end of it to come. I would absolutely love to just start opening up. Obviously, spoiler alert if you haven't seen WandaVision in its entirety.
And also, shame on you.
Yes, and shame on your household. Everyone involved should have a lot of shame. So I'd love to get some just first impressions for the entire season for WandaVision, starting with Josh.
Incredibly pleasantly surprised and very happy with how the whole thing played out. Love the format. I think it's something that's absolutely repeatable.
Now, when you say repeatable, you mean like a season 2?
No. I mean the format, which none of us knew how that was going to work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
And I think you can put any Marvel property into this format, not the TV, not the whole TV thing, but like, not sure how long the episode's going to be. Week to week.
Yeah.
I think everything about it worked really well.
It's the Mandalorian format, which we're going to talk about that in a minute because I love the format too.
Great. So first impressions, Brian.
First impressions. I can only. Oh, no, I can't say that. My dad's listening. I enjoyed it immensely. Where I
fully and to message.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Working some chaos magic of my own, if you catch my drift.
In your pants?
The location of the chaos magic will not be divulged on this recorded format. But yes.
Brian, blink twice if you're being held. Just tap the mic twice if you're being held hostage and you need some help.
Hostage? Captive?
Or say the word
You're supposed to order a pizza.
I can't blink twice if I'm in fact under control of a spell.
No, tap the mic. Just tap the mic.
Tap the mic.
Jesus Christ.
Why are you censoring yourself?
Yeah, thank you for.
I love living here in Westview.
Thank you for the censorship here. This is weird. Anyway, let's just move on past that. So I thought that this was very well executed on a concept that we were kind of like, how the hell is this gonna work? Every week they delivered something fresh and original, and it just got better and better and better. And I think that Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen did a fantastic job during the series.
Really like that Paul Bettany.
Oh yeah,
too many.
You know what?
T's.
That Bettany, he knows what he's doing, man.
So let's start with this. Brian, you seem to have something bigger that you want to say. But apparently I have to use a codec. So everyone get your decodering out and let's start figuring out what Brian wants to say.
CJ noticed since you've watched all of WandaVision, there's something bigger about you.
I do not know what you mean. I'm a 1950s television star. We don't talk about such things. I sleep in a separate bed from my wife.
It's with a bundling board.
Let's talk about the episode format and what Josh brought up with the fact that I forgot how enjoyable week to week television can be.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say
you know what?
Wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
No, I have. You know why? I forgot what it's like to be excited for something in the television world. Like I'm excited about things in my life. Like I get to talk to Josh every week. That excites me. CJ, meh. But I forgot what it's like to be like, I can't wait to watch that next episode next week. Like it's something that doesn't happen anymore. And it's a shame. And God, Disney is so freaking smart, because here's the thing, like, as much as we all enjoyed the binge model and like, here are all the episodes of insert show that Josh is watching here all at once, just freaking devour it, right? Like, that only allow, like, every time that happens, you're like, oh, hey, I watched the new season of Stranger Things, and you talk about it for a week and then it's done because the next thing has come out. Like, we've been talking about WandaVision for two and a half months right now. Like, and the conversation has not died down. It's always been like, did you see it for 3 days? And then the next 3 days were, I can't wait for, and then the next episode watched, and it's this vicious cycle. And like that, from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint, that just does nothing but benefit Disney. But more importantly, like, it allowed me as a fan to think about the episode, rewatch the episode, like, theorize and be like, oh, I hope this happens and all that other stuff. We're going to get to the theories later, because none of the theories that everybody was saying went true, and I'm okay with it. But it allowed the conversation to live and breathe and be, and like the hype about the newest episode, I missed that feeling. I forgot how much I missed that feeling. I really enjoy the week-to-week release schedule and format. I really do. And the other thing is, like, I don't feel obligated to watch 10 and a half to 13 hours of content, and otherwise, oh, I don't want this to be ruined for me, I have to watch the entire season in a weekend. Like, I get to watch a half hour, 40-minute, 50-minute episode, and like, it seems way more doable. And it's just, it's a way more enjoyable experience for me. Like, I'm fine with binging certain things, but I enjoy this a lot better.
While I understand what you're talking about with this week-to-week television aspect for it, just to really put that in the context, though, this isn't like some like dream that hasn't been going on for years. Like, Game of Thrones went until 2019, Mandalorian went 2019 and 2020. Like, and Disney's really been into the all in effect for that, in the sense of Mandalorian was week to week. This one's going to be week to week. Falcon Winter Soldier is going to be week to week. So, they're milking it there. I do like the fact that
I agree, but every other thing is, here's 20 episodes at once, binge them.
Oh yeah, flash in the pan, right? Just go. And I guess it's a different style of watching, because obviously I think we all can agree that as soon as the episode ended, you're like, first off, why are there 10 minutes of additional credits, you sons of bitches?
Yeah, that was egregious.
And secondly, you're just like, I want my next episode. And I agree that there is a pro and con to doing that, but I did like the way they did that. Yes, we're going to talk about the theories and the fan stuff later, but I do like the fact that it was week to week. I think it really lends itself to the sitcom thing that they're riffing on, and B, I thought it just really kind of let you, just like you said, kind of stay with the events that just happened, or the knowledge that you learned with the character, and really kind of let it sink in. And it was more impactful because I got to internalize it before I just go on to the next thing. And then, like tonight, I just finished the season before we recorded the series. Sorry, before it recorded, and like everything from the first episode, the second, like they're all still fresh in my mind, even though it's been a longer period of time. I think you're right. For other shows that I've watched where I've binged it all, it's great, and then I try to remember what happened in the third episode. I'm like, I don't know. So I really like that.
It's not like it's like a 23 episode network show where like you're trying to consume like 18 hours of, and you're like, what happened in episode 6 that's now something that's big in episode 23? Like, it's 9 episodes. It's doable. It's not simple, but it's doable. And to your point, I get to sit with it. I get to remember, oh, hey, this thing that happened in episode 3 is now like coming to fruition now. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I mean, my love for Mandalorian is well known. So, and I enjoy the week to week for that as well.
So, Josh,
it gives me something to look forward to.
What about you? Because this was 7 episodes, 20 to 30 minutes, and the last 2 are about 40 each. How did that format sit with you?
I mean, I didn't really have a choice, right? I wasn't consulted.
Right. How dare they, by the way?
I did.
If I was
did get-
consulted, it would have been very
They haven't called it
I-
the definitive way to do a show, so you didn't
you
need
know,
to be
I
consulted.
did get to watch each episode a couple times, which is not something I would do if I were binging it, right?
Right.
If I were binging the show, it would just be, straight through done. I probably wouldn't watch it a second go round. But so I got to watch more, catch more. I'm not a big fan of the waiting. The waiting is not for me. And all the water cooler, man. Like, I get it. Everybody's excited, but like, I can do without 1,000 different speculations.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should not have texted you after.
No,
every
I'm
episode.
fine with your speculations, right? It's just, I don't need to hear how, who's going to be Reed Richards. I'm like, I don't know where the fuck you guys are getting Reed Richards from. I don't see a way in. I don't see it.
Right.
I did, but I wasn't too worried about it.
Right.
But when it didn't, never mind. Well,
All the
lead
craziness.
us into this. Yes.
I can do without all the craziness. But I didn't hate it. I did enjoy the excitement from week to week. That was cool. I mean, every week is it Friday? Is it Friday?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm waking up early and I'm watching WandaVision,
Yep.
first thing
Before
before my work day starts. Right.
Exactly what I did.
And then, you take a little breaky in the middle of the day to eat some lunch. I'm watching WandaVision again. Watch it again. And then if Laura wants to watch it later that night, I'll watch it again. But I still, I prefer watching 9 episodes in one evening if I can.
And before we jump into the theories part, and we can address that, I do want to mention, I like the shows that they reference and the way that they did that, where you're trying to pick out what show was it, right? Where we first said Dick Van Dyke and I Love Lucy.
Or
and,
multiple shows.
Yeah, there's Bewitched. So, I mean, I do like the fact that they were tying into that. And then it was explained, too. The reason why this show was mentioned is explained within the show. So I really like the fact that this wasn't just, for shits and giggles. Like, there was a reason behind it that we get to call out these motifs. We get to put in these intros, or we get to look at a camera angle and be like, all right, that's definitely from this show. So I like the fact that, again, everything had an intention to it. And it really lended itself to telling the story. So it wasn't just shits and giggles. It had a purpose to it.
That reason was heartbreaking, by the way. When I
Yeah.
finally connected those dots. I was like, well, that takes the shine off of the fun, quirky sitcom motif.
And I think what the show does really well is gave us a lot of good backstory and connection and real good emotion to a character that really hasn't gotten as much explanation and screen time as she deserves, considering how many people were in phase 3, right? And just how many wheels were moving, that coming into phase 4, this is going to be an important character, and we should really get to know more about her. Because while the history was mentioned, we didn't see a lot of it, and it was nice to see it from her perspective and get to understand the character a little bit more. Same thing even with Vision, just getting to know Vision a little bit better than we had it in previous movies. So it was nice to get to know these characters. Plus, Jimmy Woo and Darcy are awesome, and I want that spinoff right now.
No, yeah, I love it. Dude, okay, you know what? So pause for sidebar tangent for a minute. Who would not watch a show that's like Darcy and Agent Woo, very like X-Files like
Yeah.
they're just supernatural / superhero happenings, and they go in, they investigate it, they solve it, and they move on. Like,
Yep.
I'd watch the shit.
Monster of the
show.
Week, right?
Like,
just keep going through.
exactly.
Yeah, I watched the
like
crap
all
out of it.
those little like superhero or supernatural things that like, oh, this doesn't need Doctor Strange. You send in Jimmy Woo and Darcy. Like,
Right.
oh, that would be so cool.
Like
All
a
right,
Men
anyway.
in Black kind of thing. It would be awesome.
It's like just hire me. Just
And-
hire me.
And,
Hire me.
And then, of course, I think they already got
Watch
the
the shit out of that.
and then, of course, we also got Monica Rambeau, and we get to see, now, I don't know what name to call her. Pulsar, Photon, Spectrum, I don't know. Photon. All right. So we got that character introduced, and we got that superhero persona kind of created, and we get to see that origins in there. And then, of course, we got the scroll. So, like, a lot of good foundation laid down for this. So, I mean, we also got that, which is nice. Now we have another superhero in the roster, superhero in training in the roster. So it's, again, expanding the bench that we're working with, considering that we just took a few away it's good to kind of replace this and get a really cool hero out of it. Now, I am not very familiar with Photon, so as I'm sure
not.
most people who watched this were not either. So it's great to kind of introduce a cool character into the mix.
Funny story. I actually have her first appearance, so I gotta go look at the value of that.
It's only going to go up, my friends, to the moon. Diamond hands and
She
tendies.
showed up. Her first appearance was an Amazing Spider-Man. So
all right, cool.
Anyway,
so there's a lot going on, but I do want to take a moment to really address the fan theories and the craziness that happened with this. And I'm going to make one point, and then I'll be quiet for the rest of the time about this. I swear to God, this is the kind of stuff where people are, and I haven't looked at any reactions online just because we were recording on Friday. I just watched it, so I'm not listening to anyone on the internet. This is where people get really invested in their own thoughts, their own theories, and their own way that they think this series should go, and then are mad or disappointed or hold it against the show for some reason, and it didn't conform to what they thought was going to happen. And it's just really annoying. It's the reason that the couple of the latest Star Wars films are panned by a couple people, not for the right reasons, for the wrong reasons.
yeah, no, those will rightfully be panned, but just for the right reasons.
Right. But people are just like, well, I wanted it to be that. Well, I guess what? You don't work for Lucasfilm, so shut up. So I'm glad to see that while there were crazy theories all over the place, I wasn't disappointed by this ending, and I didn't let those theories and ideas really stick in my head for too long. Just go with the flow of the show.
I've already seen one article of 9 things that pissed us off about WandaVision.
Which is stupid.
And it was all like, oh, what, this thing that should have been. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm over it. I even said to Josh, I texted Josh this morning. I said, people are not going to be happy with a couple of these.
The director of the final episode came out and said the finale is going to disappoint people. No, it shouldn't.
Why?
I have no idea, because they built up too much. And this is where hey, nerds, like, we're allowed to have ideas and be passionate. Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be nice? And Reed Richards and Doctor Strange and Magneto, like I get it. We all have hopes, but like, calm the fuck down. That if the show doesn't do that, like, you don't blow a gasket, right? Like,
more importantly, like,
I'm done.
this show. Oh, okay, but more importantly, this show, like, it resolved its main story, but there are still a lot of different threads open. There's still a lot of different things. All of these theories can still happen. Like, the door is open for Mephisto. Like, it doesn't like necessarily like have to had happened in this show. The door is open for the faux Quicksilver to be Quicksilver from Fox. Like, it's still there. And in the hands of a smart writer, you can write all this stuff and make it all make sense, and all of your fan theories can come true. But you know, at the end of the day, just enjoy the ride. Who cares? It's fun. It's fun to theorize. Trust me. I sent Josh paragraphs after like episode 3. I was like, I have 2 theories. They're both 18 pages long. Here you go. And it was fun thinking about those things. It was enjoyable. Like, oh, wouldn't it be cool, right? But I'm completely happy with the way things ended, and none of it happened the way I thought it would.
And there is a difference between wouldn't it be cool and they are going to, or they need to, or they should. That's different, right? And I think that's the right way to come about it. Josh, I know you're on TikTok a lot, and TikTok is just flooded with people's their 2 brain cells together rubbing together to make a theory. So I'm kind of curious on your take on that and what you saw and overall how you felt that some of these didn't come true.
Look, I think, again, with the speculations, right? I'm quick to flip through something on TikTok. Like, if you don't get to the point, like, now, I'm not watching. However,
you only got a minute as it is.
Right. So, like, I don't want to hear just get to the point. The cool things that I saw, I sent to you guys. The things that I liked the most were less speculation and more like, did you notice this? We talked about after episode 1 or 2, we talked about the aspect ratio and how it shifted.
Loved it.
And honestly, I didn't really notice it again until that I sent you guys a TikTok of this dude pointing it out. When Wanda went into Agatha's basement. And I went, oh no, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice it in the show. I didn't notice the aspect ratio change. And I thought that's cool. Will it mean something? I don't know. And frankly, I don't think it matters. But look, I can do without all of that. Honestly, because I think very, very many of these people just don't have a comic book, like they don't have a love for it. They just want to dig into the social media aspect of it, which is whatever. I want to hear Brian's opinion. There's a few other people, but like that's really it.
Right. A lot of people just going for the kudos of having a cool idea and just taking the clout.
That's great.
I'm on that list, and I feel good about that.
But you're not sitting there on the internet going, "This is gonna happen, guys," and if it
what do
doesn't,
you call this?
Well, it's over. We haven't talked about.
Sorry,
we haven't talked about it on the
what
air.
do you call this?
It's over.
This is me on the internet talking about my thoughts.
Well, it's different. All right. Listen, there's a lot that's coming in there, and I kind of want to hit a couple things. So, what did, in your opinion? What did this add to the MCU? What did this add to the story for moving forward? Not your speculative of what it's going to do, but like, what did this open the door for? What did you notice that this could kind of influence the MCU on?
I'm going to let Josh go first.
Woof.
Do you want me to go first?
No, I mean, obviously there is the mutant possibility, right? Because you have Monica Rambeau, now Photon, and the whole thing about her DNA being rewritten. Okay, so we open the door for mutants, maybe. But the link to Doctor Strange is very clear. And you have, a new phase of Marvel, seemingly that will be led by Doctor Strange and Wanda, and from time to time Captain Marvel, I'm sure. And then, anchored by others. But it seems like this whole thing is very much, and I please don't think I'm excluding Spider-Man, Brian. I'm not. I think at this point, it seems very clear that the story is all flowing through Doctor Strange, and the astral projection at the very end was very, very cool. So like, I think it's, look, in Feige we trust, obviously. I don't want to speculate about potential storylines. It seems to me like Wanda is set up to, she could very easily take a lead here. I'm hoping they don't do she's gonna be a villain for a while. I just don't. I'm hoping it's just, let's just go forward.
And let me clarify what I mean too. Like the first couple Marvel movies were clearly about shit that's happening here on Earth, and things are going to get bigger and bigger, and there's a build to it, right? All the way to Age of Ultron, we're talking about like AI and big threats to the world, and then we get to in Infinity War and Endgame, we got the Infinity Stones. We're going out into space, right? And I think, and Brian, I want you to finish up because you're way smarter than me in all of this. Doctor Strange opened the door for magic, right? But this really kind of just kicked down the doors and exploded, right? A lot of magic, I think, is going to be prominent in moving forward within Marvel. But then also with the Skrulls and with Photon, we're opening up that space thing too. So we're going to see maybe those two worlds collide, or just more stories told in those spaces. And that's really fun and exciting because visual medium, a lot of fun to see magic. That stuff worked great in Doctor Strange. It looked really good in WandaVision. So more magic stuff will be really fun to watch. And then, of course, who doesn't love fucking space battles and seeing aliens and stuff? So like, we're getting off the Earth and we're getting off World War II stories, like all that stuff is going, and we're getting to go more fun places. So it just opens the door for that. Again, if they don't do that, I'm not mad. Like, good. Do what you need to do. But it's opened up more of that, and I think that's a really interesting part that we haven't really delved into too much in the MCU, with a couple stories here and there. Brian, please take us home to a much smarter and intelligent place.
You build it up like that, and now I'm just gonna freaking disappoint, probably. I think this opens a lot of doors. Yes, it opens the doors for mutants. It opens the doors for all the Fox properties, honestly, for Fantastic Four. I don't think that was intended when making this show. I think it is a happy accident, because they're building things 5 years in advance, and as much as I'm sure the Fox negotiations were happening 5 years ago, I don't think they knew it was for sure. So I'm sure hey, let's just make it ambiguous enough that we can do this if we have to. So yes, it definitely opens the door for Fox. It opens the door for multiverse things and reality shifting. And obviously Doctor Strange's movie is called Multiverse of Madness. So here's the thing. I think you're going to see more space stuff. I think you're going to see more alternate universe stuff. I think it's all going to hit a apex soon, like essentially. But I think for a while you're going to have, just like comic books, you'll have 2 or 3 different storylines going on that all eventually converge into one story. So like, unlike, phases 1 through 3, which were really like, even the standalone movies had a stinger leading into Infinity War. I'm not so sure you're going to see that. I'm not even so sure you're going to have one necessarily just the biggest bad. I think you maybe, I don't know just yet, but I think you're going to have the Wanda Doctor Strange story, which is going to be in Doctor Strange. It's going to be in Spider-Man 3. It may probably will include the Loki TV show as well. And that's going to be the fun reality altering multiversal type things, right? And cool, we can use that. We can bring in the Fox properties that way. But I also think you're going to have, okay, here's the boots on the ground people. Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Black Widow. Like, these are the things, like, shit's still going, like, Baron Zemo is still out there. Like, things are still happening on Earth. Like, so you're going to have that storyline. And then you're going to have the space stuff. The end of this series, definitely set up an idea of Nick Fury's already in space. Hey, Monica, need you up here with me. Leading into Secret Invasion. Dovetailing into Captain Marvel 2. And, like, I don't think those 3, like, things are going to constantly be slipping and sliding over each other, like in the first.
Right, yeah, they don't overlap in a Venn diagram.
Yeah, like phase 1 through 3, like there was always that overlap. But I don't think you're going to see that now. I think you're going to see certain characters stick with certain storylines, and then yeah, maybe they'll come to a head in like a phase 5 or 6 or whatever Feige has planned. But I think you're going to see a little bit more separation, but a little bit more fun, a little bit more. Let's have some wacky adventures, and like, okay, cool, gimme.
Which I think is good because we were. I mean, I've been rewatching Marvel movies in the timeline order, right? And you get to a couple movies, and you're just like this doesn't really tie into the larger story, like. Thor: Dark World, while very important about the Infinity Stone, like other than that, like nothing much going on with it. And I think this gives them some freedom to tell some weird stories, tell some one-off things, follow a character through, maybe do a little more character development, and then at some point, yeah, that person will punch somebody in the face.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see a world where like Shang-Chi is going to be reality jumping or time jumping with like Loki. Like, but I definitely see him playing in the same sandbox as Falcon and Winter Soldier, and maybe even Thor. Like, so like. And like, I don't see a world where the Eternals is going to be like palling around with Winter Soldier anytime soon.
Right,
like,
yeah.
That's going to be more of the space stuff that eventually leads to Skrulls and Captain Marvel 2 and Miss Marvel. And, then you have Moon Knight and She-Hulk. And those people aren't going to really play well with, the Wandas and Doctor Stranges. So like, I think we get more. And I really hope the laymen, for lack of a better term, can like keep track of it all. I really do, because I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think there's going to be a lot of really cool things that we can do. I say we, like I already worked there.
Yeah, like you work. Right, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's nothing but good things that can happen as a result of this. And I'll shut up after this. With this being so successful. And honestly, this success of this show is going to then spill over into whenever we get Doctor Strange 2. This is going to... Marvel did something completely new with, we're going to have a connected universe where people from other movies carry over into other movies. We're going to tell one giant story while telling individual stories over 20 some odd movies. And that was groundbreaking. And now everybody is either PO'd about it, so they shit all over it, or everybody's trying to copy it. This is just Disney/Marvel doing it again. No one's ever done this where here's a 9-episode television show that feeds right into this movie, that feeds right into this other television show, so that no matter where you're at, I can get Marvel content. And it's all one overarching story between multiple mediums, multiple viewing styles. No one's done this before. So now they're just like, hey, we did something cool, and now we're just going to take it to a completely another level. And you do that with a character like Wanda, because Wanda is likable because she was in the past other movies. We already know her, we like her, but we don't know enough about her. To your point, we flesh out her story, we get more vision, we get a story where these two characters who honestly are just ridiculously powerful. They can't just, go up against like Joe Schmo on the street. They have to be fighting like cosmic level events.
Right.
Yep.
And like you get to tell a tight-knit, really truly grounded story with these characters that aren't like a 3.5 hour Avengers Endgame epic. You can get into the nuance of their relationship, and really be rooting for them and really feel bad for Wanda. And this story was like about so many things, but at the core, it's about trauma. It's about grief. And that's a story that like you don't get to do in a 2.5 hour movie, not effectively.
No, not at all, actually.
So
you just get lost in it.
Yeah, because like eventually someone's got to punch someone else.
What I think happens is in a movie you don't get the amount of time you need to effectively empathize with the character, right? You have to move on to something else.
Right.
Or to effectively understand that character's trauma. And
that's what I said.
yeah, apologies. but you can do that. You can do that over, after 9 episodes, this was a 5-hour movie?
Right.
Like you can do that. You can't do that in 2.5.
And you get those lines like, what is grief if not love persisting, right? And you get to have those big moments of it's like, oh, thanks for punching me in the gut for a minute. I'll recover in a moment. Give me a minute. And you really get to tell that story, just like you said, right? You really get to delve into topics that you wouldn't put in a movie, right? Like, we dealt with Tony having PTSD in a few movies, but it was like maybe 5 minutes and a little bit of Iron Man 3, right? And some of that was cut out too. So you really get to dive into these characters as individuals, right? And kind of tell their story.
Okay, now bring back Daredevil.
So this was...
He was already on set at Spider-Man 3.
So this was... No, I'm not doing this. We just yell at people for doing this.
Nope, Charlie Cox was on
I
set
understand.
in Spider-Man 3.
That's great. He was visiting, he's saying hi, he's getting a pizza slice. So there were 9 episodes in this series. I am very curious if you had a favorite, or if you had a moment that really stood out to you that you thought was really good in this series. If you need some time, I have my pick.
No, mine was the second to last episode.
Yeah, mine too.
Breaking the fourth wall? Or no, previously
episode
on. Sorry.
7.
The penultimate, right? Okay. The getting her story.
Why? Was that yours too?
Sorry. No. So I like that episode, but the moment I really liked was episode 5 on a very special episode where Vision has become kind of self-aware and confronts Wanda, and they start floating and shouting at each other in the middle of the living room, and he's challenging, is this the right thing to do? You can't control me. And really just kind of having that crisis of what the hell is going on? What am I? Where am I? How did I get here? And he's having that moment and challenging Wanda in a space that she freaking controls. And the two of them together as an acting scene was incredible.
Acting!
Yes. It was really good. And it really kind of, again, put some stakes back on the table to explain what we're doing here and really kind of get to the bottom of how are we processing the emotions of these two characters as they go through this.
All right, so if you want like a moment in episode 7,
I'll take a moment.
It is not the first scene, but the first flashback.
You mean episode 8?
In episode 8, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Where it all kind of comes together, and the dad
family
comes
movie
home.
night.
The family movie night, and you learn Dick Van Dyke is her favorite show. Okay, well, that's why that motif was in episode 1. Like, and all of the little things that they were doing from a story standpoint. CJ is from an acting standpoint, and we understand why. Mine is from a story standpoint, because all those little things that they were doing leading up to that episode clicked.
Yeah.
And it made sense. And it is a beautiful way to demonstrate some character just moments and some understanding of Wanda without actually, oh, this is me and this is who I am, and doing that through like a monologue.
Right.
It's just
Showing, not telling,
one
right?
scene. Right. And like, listen, I'm all about like, sometimes you can just tell. I'm completely fine with that. But this was just, we've spent 7 episodes up to this point, and it just puts a completely new meaning on it. It was just like, oh, this is cute. Oh, this is fun. That episode's Bewitched. Oh, that's clearly the Brady Bunch. Oh, shucks. And it completely puts this like really heavy meaning behind it. And all of a sudden, what felt fun and light and hearted and stuff is all like, that's heavy. That's serious. That's depressing. And like you just connect with her in that moment and you get it. And like, so when Monica at the end of the series says, if I had the power, I probably would have done the same thing. Yep. You're all feeling that.
Yeah.
You're all like, yep, I would too.
Yeah. And it was, someone pointed out too at one point that only the first season of Malcolm in the Middle was released on DVD. And when they flash forward after the bombing, they're in the Avengers headquarters, that she's watching Malcolm in the Middle, that she had to grieve, and she's thinking of her brother, and she's watching this series. She had to finish it because all she got was the first season on DVD. She had to watch it on a streaming service. And again, it kind of ties into the fact of, yeah, this is how people grieve. We find something that reminds us of a person, and
we find that comfort.
We go through it.
It's just, hey, this reminds me of that, but like, and it's sad to watch it, but like you have to do it type of thing. Like it's just one of those things. It's and like and then I mean that scene, you want to talk about acting moment, and that's where the love persevering line comes from. Her and Vision sitting on the couch having that conversation, and like and you get why and how they fell in love. Whereas like as much as I really enjoy Civil War, there's a gap between Ultron and Civil War where and Civil War and Avengers Infinity War where you're like, okay, like they're together, but like why?
Yeah.
And if you're a comic book fan, you're like, well, they're together because they have to be. And like and that seems like, okay, this is why. I get it now,
Josh, what about you? Did you have a standout moment from any of the episodes that you really liked?
Well, I think Brian and I agreed on episode. And again, for me, it goes back to understanding the character and being able to empathize with the character. So beyond what Brian has discussed already with the flashback, if I had to pick a moment outside of that episode, it would have been in the finale, Wanda realizing what her pain and grief doing to a whole group of people. I thought that was a really cool moment. Sort of a potential realized, so to speak. And Wanda really seems to have this ability to sort of ingest these. I'm losing the word here, but like she's able to perceive things and very quickly act upon them. And make a decision. She doesn't waffle, which is really
very
cool.
Decisive with it.
Yeah. But she's incredibly intuitive. And you know what? Being able to put that, like, put others' pain above relieving and resolving your own. That was a cool moment.
I want to move on to one final thing. Was we obviously have a star-studded cast, right? And we have a lot of heavy players, but we also got a couple, cameos and smaller players. Was there anyone else besides, Elizabeth Olsen, who, by the way, did a tremendous job with this? Who else was kind of your standout character, do you think?
Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah,
I think she was great.
And
like I going into this, like I wouldn't say I
you
hated
don't
her.
like her. You do not like her.
No, I wouldn't say I hated her. I was very indifferent. Like
I said,
I
do
love
not
her.
like. I love her also as well. But
I do now.
well, in everything, she's spectacular. Like I think about Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's
I think about Step Brothers. I mean, she really is spectacular. In whatever role she can deliver any line straight face. Comedic timing is on point. She's great.
And the way that they left it, right? She's still in Westview. So later on, if that's someone that we
she's
need to
gonna
go back,
find a way out.
back to see, or again become a potential villain, right? Definitely something in there. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and then Brian, we'll let you take it out. But Josh Stamberg, who played Director Hayward, played the prick asshole.
hated him.
Right. Everyone hates him, and the story also made you hate it, but the guy also delivered on being a douche. Right. And he did it in a really good way.
Yeah, honestly,
I challenged him. I liked his performance.
I didn't. I thought he was, he was fine. He was meh.
I
Look,
would agree with you if I didn't just watch him be a douchebag in an episode of Law and Order before WandaVision premiered.
Okay.
So like,
We got that.
I'm here. I'm watching the guy, and I'm like, you know what? I knew what he was about from the start.
Yep.
You knew, given the opportunity, he's gonna shoot her. Like, it's just, I don't know. I thought it was very predictable, and in that respect, I can't put him up there. I tell you what, if you wanted somebody, like, if you want to talk about somebody outside the Hex who I think really did a great job, really grew a lot, is Agent Wu.
Randall Park.
yeah, Randall
Jimmy
Park.
Woo.
He did.
Yeah,
a great
he's
job.
awesome.
Great job.
Seeing him in Ant-Man was the last place, right, where he's learning the
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah,
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yep.
You saw those memes, right? It's just like, oh, best character growth in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
As that scene where he's like going to the sky, he's like, how do you do the card trick? Can you show-" And now he's like doing the card trick. I love it.
Well, he also escaped from handcuffs, right?
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
when they
he
put him
also
in
escaped from
handcuffs, I'm just like, you don't put a magician in handcuffs. Whether you knew? Are you new?
They don't know about his close-up magic.
That's ridiculous. I thought he had a YouTube video too, didn't he? And anyway,
I would love to see more of him, and I'd love to see more of Darcy. Honestly, like I joked earlier, I'm dead serious though. I would watch
the shit out of that show. Yep.
But like, I'm pretty sure Kat Dennings is signed on for more. I mean, I definitely think I'm almost positive she's showing up in Thor, but I don't know about Randall Park.
They haven't talked about her being in Thor, but that's again speculation. Blah 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 blah.
I don't think you bring her back just to be the ditzy scientist, which I know is very counter, but she's got that personality, but she's also really smart.
Well, it was also nice to see she got her degree, right? The last time we saw her was in Thor Dark World.
I was
she
so
barely
happy about that.
She was barely into astrophysics, right? She had her own assistant, right? She had her own assistant, but that was it.
I texted Josh that I was like, I'm just so happy she got
her degree,
doctorate,
and she got to play that doctor role. Like, hey, yes, Miss knows doctor. And again, she's phenomenal. I think we all love Kat Dennings, and more of Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis. I'll be a very happy guy.
This cast was just
very good
awesome.
job.
It was
even
very well done.
Even the supporting people, right? Yeah.
Even supporting people to the point where some of these series is like, who's this mailman?
Yeah, who's Dennis the Mephisto?
And you're just like,
okay,
all right, I'll take this crazy train with you. Sure, why not? Talk to me. I just think it was very well acted, very well thought out, very well done. Even things that like made no sense, like the commercial breaks, like after a while, this makes sense now. Like, it's just kudos to, and we sit here, we say in Feige we trust, and it absolutely is definitely him. But like, who's the showrunner? Jack
Schaefer? Does that sound right? I think.
Creator Jack Schaefer, yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like Jack Schaefer, the writing behind this, it was very smart. It was very well done. It was just damn enjoyable, and like all the way down to like just even like the aesthetics. Like, you read comic books and like they're cool in print. Wolverine looks great in print.
Right.
Don't ever put yellow spandex on anybody, please. like on film, it doesn't look good. And so like when at the end of the series, and like it's very superficial, but at the end of the series, I got giddy when we had like the little crown around her head. Looked very much like her comic book costume. Her costume itself was freaking like awesome and badass. But like,
and it's about time she got a proper costume because she's just been wearing like
a
leather
proper costume, a proper code name,
right. Like all that stuff.
and like all of that was really, really cool. And like I know, Josh, you're just like, oh well, I don't want. I'm telling you right now, I don't think she's going to be a bad guy for long, but I think she's going to be an antagonist.
I would rather not. Like you know.
I foresee
It's a
this.
Jason Bourne style kind of thing.
No,
Here's
I
my
mean, like
theory.
she came from there. Like I want to see progress, not regression.
I agree, but I think I think this. Okay, my theory.
Oh,
And here you go. And this is not they need to do this, but my thoughts are this. Clearly at the end of the show, she hears her children, they're trapped somewhere. I'm guessing Mephisto's realm, or maybe just another alternate reality, but that's neither here nor there.
Sure.
Whatever she needs to do to get her kids back, which she will do, is going to be counterproductive and counterintuitive to what Doctor Strange is trying to do. And it's going to force them to go against each other. I don't think it's going to be for the whole movie. I think eventually they'll have to team up for the big bad, but I think Wanda is going to be like, my children are in this reality, and Doctor Strange is going to be like, if you do this, you're going to break reality. I can't let you do it.
minus the fight, have they been on the screen together? Have they met each other?
I mean, not really.
No,
I mean, they were on
because
the
Strange ended up on the ship because it was in.
they were on the same battlefield in
Street.
Endgame.
Yeah, but that's it. They've had
I
no
mean, you could
interaction with
probably
each other.
argue they might have been at Tony Stark's funeral together. I don't remember seeing Doctor Strange there, but you could argue that.
Sure.
You can also argue that, like, hey, once Thanos dusted away, they were like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, you can argue all of this stuff.
Well,
But,
Strange
like,
was dusted and she was dusted, so they would have to be
I'm
dusted.
talking about at the end of Endgame.
Oh, when they came back?
Talking about the end of Endgame. Like, it's not like the battle was over and they were like, all right, I'm going to fuck off. Bye now.
Shawarma, everybody, shawarma.
Like, I'm sure they hung out and said, hey, Cap, loved how you did that thing. You're picking up the Mjolnir now? Cool. You know what? I'd actually like to see that video of what happened after the battle. Like, did they talk?
They
like,
just
what did
they got a pizza again, right? It's like the shawarma scene, but the shawarma places were closed, so they went and got pizza.
My point is this: like, regardless of whether they know each other or not, that doesn't mean shit. But the thing is, I think Doctor Strange 2 is going to have a Scarlet Witch versus Doctor Strange battle. And also bolstered by the fact that they very specifically mentioned, oh, you're stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme for a reason.
Right.
Like,
Yep. Very true.
because we want to see that battle.
So you bring up the loose ends that this has. That again, just more stories to tell. The other loose end is what happens to Vision, right? That White Vision kind of got the memories and the
He's off trying to
insight
find himself.
of
No, I'm not joking. That's what
the
he's doing.
WandaVision.
No, he
right.
he did fuck off though. Like he fucked off quick.
He fight off right, but all of the memory of regular Vision is inside of him, and there we go again with replacing the
I
boards.
know, but it didn't bother anybody. He didn't stick around.
It did a little bit, but I understand why it happened.
And this is exactly why I texted you, Josh, because I think people who are not us are going to have a huge problem with how that ended.
No, I didn't have a huge problem with it.
I didn't
Like,
think
and
you would.
No, I have perspective. This dude all of a sudden is someone else, right? Was something, had orders, was something, then was something else very quickly. He's got to think there's more out there.
Well, I'm also of the opinion, and I have nothing to back this up besides me, and a little bit of comic book knowledge. I don't think he has the emotion to process any of the memories he got. Because that's all he's gotten is memories.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
He doesn't have the emotion behind it. He doesn't know that he loves Wanda or even how that love feels, just that he remembers loving Wanda. So, right. So, like, he is an emotionless being right now.
Yeah.
And he's got to find that connection.
And I'll tell you,
again.
Brian identifies with that like more than you know.
Definitely. And you know what? I'll tell you right now, the moment I felt emotion, I had to fuck off for a while too.
Yeah.
So, it's just it's just something he's got to figure out.
But again, that leaves the possibility of we will see Vision again in some way, shape, or form.
Most certainly. And
right?
we'll see him very
Which
different.
means, again, the only guy going through from the start of this MCU phases all the way through so far. Only guy still hanging around from the very, very, very beginning. So good for him. Guy's going to get a lot of paychecks. Was there...
I was going to say Nick Fury, but okay.
I'm thrilled that the show didn't become about something bigger. I'm thrilled that they kept it to the story is about Wanda and Vision. We're going to keep it about Wanda and Vision. the tease about Quicksilver was a red herring, and there is nothing bigger. There's nothing else to, you know what I mean? Like that thing. Yeah, the appearance.
Skrulls
of,
was the biggest thing, right? That's as big as he got, and that was like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but that was more like Nick Fury wants you. You know what I mean? And that was a cutscene. That wasn't a reveal of any kind.
Touché.
Like the
Yes,
story
yes.
was about Wanda.
Right.
That's what I loved.
No, good.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. So, very excited for the show. Absolutely love it. Now the next question is Falcon Winter Soldier's in just like a week or two, right?
In like 2 weeks.
In like 2 weeks. So
I plan on rewatching all of WandaVision. I'm not joking. Like I plan on binging it again.
I'm still
And
trying to get through my
then-
MCU part. I'm on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And then I'll carry on. So yeah, definitely excited to see where it goes. So Falcon Winter Soldier's next. Josh, I know you were a little off on that. Like it wasn't on a scale of 10. Finishing this, what do you feel?
No, I'm excited to watch the show. It just felt like more eye candy than substance.
Okay.
That's all.
For Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I mean, neither one of those characters.
No, that's fine. No. Let's play this back later.
Neither one of those characters is lightning in a bottle. Neither one.
I don't
Cannot wait to play that back after Falcon Winter Soldier's done.
Great. We have the soundbite. Now here you can record this.
You want me to love it because Lethal Weapon, right?
I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that even though separately they may not be, and I agree with you, together I think they are. B,
yeah.
I think Baron Zemo is a way interesting villain, and that's what I'm going there excited about is seeing
Is
more
the
Zemo.
villain. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if they do more and expand more on his character and motivation from Civil War, I think we're in for a really interesting show.
Something that we pointed out for DC and Marvel and sometimes too is a villain problem. Did this show have a villain problem? I know we're kind of baking in the nostalgia of just finishing it today. Was the villain? I mean, I'm fine that it wasn't a bigger bad, but like
the answer is no, because the villain. Okay,
it was appropriately sized for what we were doing.
This is my
opinion,
opinion, and you take it as it is. And
sure,
Josh, you can absolutely add or subtract or tell me the fuck off afterwards. But the villain of the show, even though yes, Agatha Harkness is not a good person and Hayward is not a good person, it's really not about them. It's about Wanda, and it's about her fighting herself. She's her own worst enemy in this show. That's why no. She's the villain. She really is, but she's also the hero, and that's what humanity does. Like that's what people do.
Well, I'm not going to top that. We're just going to let that ride right there. That's the end. All right. Well, listeners, we are also very excited to hear what you thought of WandaVision, as well as your thoughts getting ready for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Cannot wait to hear for that. You can text us at 484-373-4119 or find us on all the social medias. Just search for That Kind of Nerd. Thank you so much for listening, making us your walk around your neighborhood, your drive to work, and we'll talk to you on the next one.
Well, welcome to the club because you are that kind of nerd.
Well, those were the first impressions.
All right,
did you have a plan for the rest of the conversation?
Right along. We just shooting from the hip? What is happening here? I'm sorry, what was your question? Did you have a question? I'm really confused.
You said that there was something, you had more to say and you want to hold off.
This is going just evolving very quickly.
No, what did you say? You said, I want to talk more about that later in just a minute.
I wanted to talk about the episode format later.
Well, let's start it with it right now.
You want to start now?
Yeah, why don't you give us a segue into this topic since I don't know where the fuck I left the edit mark.
I don't even know how you're going to segue this. I think this should all stay in, but...
Take a minute. Take a breath.
Those noises and all. Just the.
Lion.
You see it.